Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Borderlands 2. It has finally happened on my channel. I do not believe in probably 4 years since I've run this channel this has happened. But 4 hours of gameplay simply was recorded inaccurately, so I only have the audio for it. So I'm at level 33 now, and there's like no other character I can do. So all I can do is this. Continue from where I am. We can show, I guess, some of what I did in the meantime. So we're just gonna have to do a bit of a catch up, and clearly there's some things I need to turn in probably before I do that. So
we're not gonna be able to stop Jack.
Storyline wise and quest wise, we'll get to that and we'll just look at everything I've done. The good news is, really for the most part, almost everything I've been doing for the past 4 hours, while it is approaching the end game element of wrapping up the story, it also has been just kind of very grindy. So you really aren't missing much. I'll see if I can do this really well. So first thing I want to do is put this fight for your life item and see what it is. This would be probably better. It's slightly better, but it improves your second. The other one improves your second win health, so I'm not going to put that one in. I don't think I can particularly have a shotgun damage one because I don't have enough space. Corrosive damage 11. I probably can't afford to hold on to that one either. Let's see, cooldown rate's 13. This save that you're given doesn't really... I don't even think the active skill cooldown rate for me really would benefit too much from being reduced down. And melee damage, we'll swap that out. Alright, so I'm selling all the others. Sell this gun. And I'm holding on to these grenades because of challenges I'm trying to start and make some progress with, and playing with just different grenades. We pretty much have different guns. I think in the 4 hours I did decide to spend 5 golden keys. So we can just quickly highlight over on this what guns I'm using. Some of these aren't even purple guns. The shield reduces your max health, but it has a faster recharge rate. We're still getting XP. We're using a rubberized fire burst grenade for a challenge. We've now using this twin peacemaker instead of the double fibber, which was probably the last gun. Let's see.
Like I said, instead of punching, I prefer to keep my distance.
And I'm not even gonna turn in the quests that I have right now. We'll just go through this. I'm looking, definitely trying to find better guns. Unfortunately, the chances of me being able to find any are incredibly low. I probably got some Iridium and upgraded one thing. So there's not probably too much that needs to be considered there. Like an upgrade on the amount of bullets you can handle. I've been finding several new skins, but I haven't dealt with any of them. So what we need to do is we need to fast travel to the location that we were going next. We were in the Blight, Iridium Blight, and in the Iridium Blight that took us to Salttooth Cavern. And for the most part, I think the 4 hours of lost footage really was just quests done here. So you can see the map is fully exposed now. There's a section over here, there's a section over here, there's a section over here, there's a section over here. And there's kind of a middle section here that looks like it's connected, but it really isn't because it's this big tower. Salttooth Cavern is just a bunch of psychos attacking you non-stop. And if we, let's see, if we sort by completed, I'm not sure. There's that you can sort by difficulty, you can sort by all, you can sort by region. Alright, that's what we need. So unfortunately completed still doesn't really do anything for us. The main story was toil and trouble. We had to run around and collect bombs that were really just boxes and supply crates that buzzards that were working for me and Slab were going to collect. They were on top of this point. We had to run to a far edge of the map over here and destroy the main boss who was up here's favorite buzzard, an enemy buzzard. Buzzards, remember, are the mechanical flying helicopters that we fight occasionally. We'll see some in a second. So we had to run over here. Well, basically we had to run underground. There's an underground section around this area. So there's an above ground and underground section. And then we found that the elevator to go to the above ground section was locked. So we had to go over here and destroy the buzzard to irritate the main boss so he would come and let us use the elevator to go up there and shoot him. When we were up there, there also was a side mission where we had to go back down to the underground thing and find a couple of items and bring them back up and hand them to what looked like an enemy guy, but he was giving us a quest, and he wanted a Hyperion signal beacon in hopes that that would help him leave Pandora, and instead it just had a supply crate delivered directly on top of him, squishing him to death, in which the game also glitched and had body parts floating, which it has done pretty consistently. Let's see. There was a quest that had us go to the Caustic Caverns at it's not this quest, however. What happened is, as we were running around the map, and we will run around the map, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to verbally explain all of this. We found a treasure map, and you just had to kill a bunch of marauders, and you got 4 pieces of the treasure map. It took us to the Caustic Caverns. When we went to the Caustic Caverns, it followed the treasure map. There were these switches that couldn't be activated or didn't do anything. We've also seen some refrigerators that can't be activated in several places in a similar way. So those might be some kind of quest later on also. So you activate the switches following the map, and eventually it gets you in the Caustic Caverns to a point where you get a new gun. Let's see. That was the lost treasure of Old Haven. I don't know why Minecart Mischief is in between these. And let's see, was there even really another quest that we've missed? There probably was. or it was just little sub-quests. The problem here is, as all of this is set up, it's just not it's not showing me anything, or showing me the order in which things were completed. So there was a lot of shooting, there was a lot of throwing grenades, although at the time I was specifically throwing singularity grenades. Now I'm using these fire shooting grenades. Oh yes, there has been a respec. I need to talk about that, certainly. There was a recorder echo device here that started a side quest where you had to find several echo devices, and the echo devices eventually led you to telling a short little story about a character. Was his name Neb, this really nerdy guy who was a podcaster who Marcus tricked into thinking he was the chosen one, and then Marcus wanted his money back, because, or his gun back or something. I don't even know why he wanted his money back. Like, how would he? I don't know. But I said I was gonna do this. I've respec'd so it heals, and I've been playing with this for 4 hours, and it using the deception now to heal almost half of your health is better than trying to use this mini must fall feature, which I could not get a hand of. But even putting things back into this kill skill to increase the recharge of your shield as you're killing people, it's still not as good as the experience in Borderlands 1 with Lilith. So you pretty much have to come down here, and there's not really a lot that happens in this section. You just get people attacking you, basically. That's kind of all there is to it. If it's not marauders attacking you, you will occasionally in these water sections also get some of the threshers to attack you. I need to not really bother to loot. This is going to take too long. It's probably going to take about an hour just to recap 4 hours of gameplay, and that's 4 dual lives. A lot of Goliaths, but these Goliaths have gotten down to the point where they're not really worth dealing with, because they don't have a tendency to survive long enough to become like a super badass Goliath and guarantee some Iridium drops. With this slag gun that I'm using, I can kill them easily. With this shotgun, I can't. I'm actually pretty low. So here's your deception walk. Basically, you just stay in it for 5 seconds, keep moving in the direction you generally want to go, and it'll get you a significant portion of your health. This is the underground area. There's quite a lot to this. There's several layered parts where you can jump down and then jump down some more and then jump back up through ladders. There's all kinds of little treasure chests around this. For instance, here's a treasure chest. In my last quest to get a treasure chest, to open treasure chests, are these kind of treasure chests, so we'll take advantage of that. And then you have to run and jump over to this, and then you can exit this way. There's about 2 ways you can leave any of these sections. We ran into an instance where let's see. I've been dying a lot and getting a lot of chemical sprayers. This is the elevator that's not here usually. So as we're riding the elevator, I'll just refill my health. The elevator takes you up to the top. And this is the final main story mission of this quest. And you just fight a bunch of people. Here's the buzzards. My rocket launcher, for example, only moderately successful at hitting things. So you kill people, and then there's squares here, crates that you have. You have to place tracers, and I'm not sure at what point you were supposed to place the tracers on, or at what point you got the tracers, because they seem to just magically exist. And then at a certain point the game tells you Slab is giving you all of your quest lines, and he says you should look badass and jump off the east side of this this platform. Now the east side, since this is north with the inn, would actually be on that side to go back, but in this instance I want to show a little bit more of this map, so I'm going to jump down to this side. And no fall damage. And I've got this new sniper rifle. This is one of the two areas where you're particularly kind of bad with threshers. One of the other quests that Slab had you do is you would run to there were 3 flag points like this one throughout the map, and he'd have you run and put the Slab symbol flag up and take down the Salttooth thing, and see, you'd protect him. You protect this very slow generator. These guys are bad because they will probably kill me. You have to protect this very slow generator and not let anything attack it, and then once the flag is up there, he tells you to destroy the generator so you can't undo it. There really wasn't a ton of things that were done in this area, and this is just another area that could have been, I think, better integrated into a more open world if this was a more modern game. Or have this section connected to the desert and make it so that you could enter this world if you wanted to, but they really don't choose to do anything like that. So, yeah, that was the area I first jumped down to, and I spent a decent amount of struggle to get to that. Now, that brings me into this area, and if you want to get into the underground area, this is the entrance here, and there's really not another way to enter. So this whole section is a kind of like a alley. It pushes you inward. There's, I don't think, a lot over on this side. I'm missing my singularity grenades because this is the area with the buzzards. So you had to come over here and activate a switch. I believe there's a switch somewhere around here. Maybe it's disappeared. And that got his favorite buzzard. There's a section over here that is powered up and has some stuff. If you can get up here, you can hit the power switch and release it, but there's not a super easy way to do that from this direction.
My equipment must stop, drop, and roll. Yes.
This is kind of a choke point, this area in general, because you have these gun turrets, which aren't really giving me a lot of experience. And we'll just jump over like that. So you go down further down this blind alley, and I spent at least a good 20 minutes just running down this Main Street reservoir. Of course, I could have done what I'm doing right now. But I kind of chose not to. And then over here is where the podcaster story ends. You find this body of this guy. Let's see. Face down. The gun you get for it has a lot of pictures drawn all over it, but compared to the guns I already have, it's pretty useless, as are most guns. And then, so I would have run down through this section, and this would have gotten me back underground. It all kind of circles and goes back underground.
Why so?
I'm not 100% sure that there's a way up the hill this way. There's another gun thing up there. So you can see it was really just a constant barrage of people attacking me, and me, for the most part, deciding to react in kind. I'll go ahead and follow the elevator. This is a kind of odd point because of this is mortar.
It's time for a second wind.
He was a sub-boss that came down the elevator. But he's really not going to drop anything. Oddly, this kind of is the only place where you can refill your bullets, so you run the danger of overfilling your inventory, and certainly that's the case for me when I was playing this section. And so this is the north side. If I jump off this side, interesting, wait. The map indicates to me that there actually is a section I haven't even visited. I find that hard to believe. Let's see, I'm trying to see what this area would be. No, I was definitely over in that section. I don't see the reason why it wouldn't be marked. guess we're going to check.
Huh. Unsurprising.
Happy camper. AV's camp. Interesting, so I did miss something. I know there's quests for going everywhere in this game. And I guess there's only one way to reach this section, the section of the map. It's from jumping up from top. Yeah, this path does not lead anywhere at all. Yeah, there are definitely some earlier parts of the map that have been in similar situations. Let's see. Tons of trash. Not a great explanation why there'd be so much trash on Pandora. Pandora is very weird about trying to get an idea of how long people have been there. Has this been hundreds and hundreds of generations of people, or is this only 2 or 3 generations of people and they're just dumping trash? These guys really aren't giving me enough experience for it to be worth the time to grind. The good news is there really isn't too much elsewise that we've missed. This section and the next section are basically it, and it isn't much of anything. Oh, I hope this is the right direction. No, this isn't. I needed to go further that direction. Seriously, is there no quicker way up? It's got some iridium over here. Maybe this will. Maybe this is the way up. Let's see. Perhaps, just perhaps, there's a way up here. To get out of this area, and then we'll. Now, in the main game, when I was playing, I would have just left. I did leave this area and get in a car and drive through the Iridium Blight to the area that the bridge had been pulling up, and the buzzards assumedly blew them up. I didn't see any buzzards. All I heard was some explosions in the distance, so I didn't even see it. And that was kind of that. After you got on the bridge and went another 20 feet, you were in the arid nexus boneyard, I believe. Yes. And so you just were on this road. There's this ground elevator that you assume was being used. Let's just quickly look at all of our guns and mark them all as unsuitable replacements so we can sell them. I don't even really want to look at them. The odds of them being important seems like not likely high. Increase your Tidore damage. That would be an interesting idea, certainly.
When you think murder, take Marcus Munitions. Thanks for the scratch. You're my millionth customer. Don't let it go to your head. Come back anytime.
Okay. So in this map, it's pretty small. There is a gas station, a gas pumping station here. There is a gas pumping station here. There is a gas pumping station around this area. They pump iridium that was flowing through these giant tubes that I'm looking at. They were pumping slag or iridium through there, and we eventually found out we needed to release all the valves at the 3 stations and then drive a car into a specific spot on the iridium pipe and crack it open and get in the pipe, and then that led us almost to where we're about to leave this area. There are skags in this area. There are racks in this area, and Dr. Zed had us collecting body parts, and he mixed together skags and racks to make scrags. And so one of the quests was to kill a scrag, kill a bunch of scrags actually. Let's take this. Also, we had a quest where we had to get to the top of this radio tower, which is what this is, and kill the person who's been recording all of the Hyperion propaganda quest stories. Let's see if he respawns.
Reinforcements requested at Hyperion Truth Network.
Hyperion Truth Network. So this is a really bad platform location. So just jump off to the edge and hope that they follow suit. As more Hyperion people like somewhere up there is the guy. I'm not 100% sure he's actually going to jump down on his own. Let's call the elevator down and we'll see if we can. So we've got some racks fighting each other. We hit a point where a lot of these guys are getting pretty strong, and the Hyperion people are certainly doing enough damage. Still, you can listen to all of these recordings. Yeah, I just don't see that guy. So maybe he didn't actually spawn.
Your eyes deceive you. An illusion fools you all.
Okay.
I move for the kill.
I'm making progress towards a quest of healing myself more. So while this wasn't really the first one that I think I went to, you had to run over to this and hit this valve, which can't be used right now, and then run over and use that valve. There's actually quite a bit more to this. They introduced these new Hyperion infiltrators that can go invisible. They don't really do anything other than that though, so it's not like they're major problems. You can basically see them shimmering anyways. Like, there's just this whole section of map in this backside that's underused, and the only thing I can guess is that they had some intentions on maybe making you come this direction and enter from under here, which would make a little bit of sense. the rocket launcher characters. Like the chances of me hitting that was crazy. That was insane. I jumped the car over this ramp. It didn't really do anything, nor did it look like it gave me a challenge. It was a challenge that needed to be accomplished. There's kind of just this building that's underused again. This whole area is pretty severely underused. Loader maintenance depot, for instance. So unless we get a reason to come here, the only thing you've got is some guns you could pick up. And then there's a wall there that clearly could have been a connecting movement. And anywhere you go in this level, these people have a good chance that they're going to be able to follow you. And I think that was the idea of this part of the map, is that this was an experiment of a completely open world where Hyperion drones would just constantly appear and get shot from the moon. If you imagined that the constructor ability hadn't been invented yet and all of the Hyperion robots were supposed to come directly from the moon, it'd make a little bit more sense. This is the second gas pumping station. It's a pretty small section. All these sections feel like they would have been merged together into a bigger area. And you just run over here and you hit that, and I think you have to run over here and hit that one. And then this door is just closed. And that's the end of that mission. The only difference is, generally speaking, if you are in a mission, you run into a little bit more resistance than what I'm running into right now. Right now I'm mostly just playing around. Too slow, Exploder. Let's see if we can refill on some grenades. So then you come around this section, and these little feathers, you get some racks that hang around these helicopter blades, but it's kind of nothing else you do. So I imagine there might be a quest at some point where I do need to come back and turn on the windmills. So we'll have probably some more time here. There is a challenge around the idea of pulling this switch, which causes a badass constructor to appear. And a whole bunch of enemies. This is a challenge though, this is not a quest. But if you're gonna grind, that is probably a good place to grind. And
your eyes deceive you, an illusion fools you all. I move for the kill.
let's throw that. Gotta be careful of these rocket launching ones. And you have these new jet style Hyperion robots that are a lot like Voltron, if that's the name of it. Robotech, a part of what was made into Robotech. I'm getting moderately good damage here, so moderately good experience, so. So I'll continue to grind here. And once I clear off this entire area, I believe one stronger Hyperion robot will appear. Alright, the Rack has found a way to kill me. Oh man, if I'm not careful, this really will kill me. Well, that sucks. That's a great example of what happened. In the 4 hours that I played, by the way, there was a slight thought I had. Maybe I can say it a little bit better and refine it. There's a weird kind of catch-22 with the way the story has... They kind of, with Maya, put her in slightly more clothing, less weird and ridiculous and slightly revealing clothing. And there is definitely a difference between the male characters and the female characters, both main characters and just random people you find on the streets of Sanctuary. Like, female characters often have short sleeves, whereas many of the male characters have long sleeves. It's not very extreme at all, and it's easily to go unnoticed. It's really an indication that I was bored, that I even recognized it, more than anything else. Could have sworn I would have gotten some Iridium or something over this. Yeah, here's some Iridium. Let's see. Yeah, so I needed to kill that so that then this super badass loader would appear. Or two of them. Gotta be careful not to die again. See, I don't want to start shooting and reduce the amount of health I get. Recovered. That'll give me a nice pile of Iridium. So we're doing a little bit of grinding. A little bit of extra work, which is not a terrible thought. And let's see. Where is the next section of the map? I believe actually, yeah, Iridium Pumping Station 3 here. So you run through this and you have some Hyperion soldiers coming out and fighting you, and there's a valve here and another valve there, as we've seen before. And again, this whole level is oddly underused. There's things certainly everywhere, but it's not like you're finding extra Cult of the Vault style items or anything like that. Like this whole building over here seems to really have no purpose in existing. At least that's the experience I had with it. It doesn't seem like there's a way up the building. And anytime you're anywhere within the ranges of the Hyperion map, you tend to get a constant barrage of enemies attacking you. Of course, if you get too close to a skag pile, you'll get skags attacking you also. And then you were supposed to basically get a car after you had overpressurized the pumps. Basically, get a transport here.
Hey y'all, welcome to new and improved Catch a Ride. Now,
Then race through this, and then go through this, jump, bump. That's all you needed to do. Although I actually bumped and went over the whole thing. This part of the tube is plugged up, and you just run to this part of the tube. And you get stuck in these little rivets. I don't think originally in the game, playing on the Xbox 360 or PS3, you would get stuck in the rivets, but at higher resolutions, at higher frame rates, this game gets a little bit weird and wonky. There is a item here that you could run around and get, or you can just reach through the bars and pick up the items. This is slightly weird. To get back to my ineloquent thought there, yeah, it's weird. They kind of put more clothes on Maya, but then I think it really is probably the least important thing to complain about. There is a much bigger complaint to be had, and that's Handsome Jack is apparently a complete idiot, and we kind of knew that, but I mean, he's really an idiot, because he tried to kill Maya, one of 6 potential Sirens, at the beginning of the game, if the cutscene at the beginning of the game before you even press start is to believed. Instead of paying her to be the catalyst to charge the vault and then betraying her later, and thus not having to use Angel, or at least keeping her alive and keeping her close as a backup plan. There clearly is one extra Siren in this whole scenario that doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think I ever came over to this side, this section. So we'll see if there's anything worth finding over here in this skag den. Doesn't look like there really is. There might be something. It's just a bullet. I almost got knocked off. So there's considerable more larger amounts of enemies to get to this point. Like this has been a total cakewalk because I've already killed all the enemies. And let's see, that gets us to the Arid Nexus Badlands, which I never took any steps here. So now you're caught up. It's taken about an hour to show what took 4 hours to play. I did find out that whatever gun you have equipped is what the comparison is. So if you are looking at a gun and it says down, 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 what it's comparing it to right now is my SMG gun, which is this gun, the Practice Plasma Caster. What you need to do, if you're going to bother to compare, which it often doesn't matter, is you basically need to select the gun that you're looking at, the gun style. Come over and highlight through everything multiple times and only compare apples to apples. This is a really repetitive factor here of just 46 different gun types going over and over again. And clearly there should just be a better system here. Obviously anything that's starred, anything that flags should compare apples to apples. If you don't have an apples and apples comparison, then it should just not show a comparison at all. By giving the impression of a false comparison, the game is really just hurting most players who don't want to have to learn the ins and outs of how this RPG mechanic works. Of course, for the most part, you can just sell all your guns, as you can see I'm pretty much doing. None of those guns came anywhere close to being important. And I don't believe there's like too much more to do. Like, we're gonna go over here to reach the Hyperion info stockade. We actually needed to turn that one in. So you have your main story data mining, and you have Monster Mash Part 3, Kill Dr. Zed's Abomination, which is in Frostborn Cavern, and this is sorted wrong. Let's see, region, I guess is how we want this to be. And so Frostborn Cavern, I don't even know if that's a place we've been before. That might be way back at the southern shelf at the beginning of the game, but it might not. Probably now at level 33 could do the creature slaughter round 3 and probably 4 and probably 5. I'm still a little iffy about doing the Hyperion slaughter, and I doubt that there's any more to do. Apparently this is the only one that we can do, and it's going to be a little story pusher that moves the story forward. We still have a lot of game to play, even though, apologies again for the missing 4 hours of it. It's unlikely that I would ever play this game a second time and do like a new game plus. If I was going to do that, it would have to basically be a live stream of some sort, and I don't know, maybe I could find 3 fans that would schedule their time and actually want to play with me. See, there's a place to sell items over here, which is odd. TK Baja's house from the first game. So if this is supposed to be TK Baja's house, like, wasn't he dead in the first game? Oh, here's a wee Hyperion character, and he just had a bunch of bullets. I've noticed a couple times I've gotten just bullets from loot midgets or loot little Hyperion characters. And again, these little robots, maybe because the game is trying to be more serious or more politically correct, maybe they're trying to get away from the midgets. They really didn't get too far away from it, but maybe.
Hey Roland, this is Zed. I thought you might want to know, some guy from the Hyperion Corporation came by, the name of Blake. Said you dealt with him during the Claptrap uprising. Anyway, he offered me a pretty penny from a place here in Firestone. Was real insistent that I take the money and run. It's probably nothing, but there was just something about him that put me on edge, you know? I'm gonna stay here for the meantime, though. I ain't no hurry to leave my shop.
So, This kind of looks like a part of the DLC of the first game, but it wouldn't really have been TK Baja's house in the first game, because that was a different area, unless this is actually supposed to be the original area and it's just been changed. There definitely is a point, yeah, and he was hanging from like this ceiling fan originally. There was definitely a point when I was playing where Brick would make the game a lot more fun, but Handsome Jack would always echo in and bring it back to the seriousness and make it less entertaining. I feel like if Brick had been your quest giver from the beginning of the game, and that had worked a little bit better. Okay, I see. I need to find a way to open that panel. See if there's maybe a switch somewhere on the wall. Yeah, I think that would have definitely improved the experience. Yeah, I guess I'm not coming back. I must come back from that direction. That kind of sucks. Yeah. Slab is the last of the 4 original characters that seems to just want to play Borderlands and do stupid run and gunning and not really have to deal with it. Looking at this map, there is probably not a ton of it. You can see walking from here to there revealed all of this map and all of that, and that's kind of it. Yeah, I really just want the fun back. That's kind of all I want. It's just give me the old dumb Borderlands 1 and stop with the ridiculousness. Like, I get it. Borderlands 1 was designed for gamer bros, and while I don't in any way consider myself a gamer bro, I found something there that was entertaining. And sure, there's things that aren't politically correct in this game. That was the whole point. This is just like a, you know, a college sex romp movie equivalent of a game. It's not supposed to be high art. And it really gets back to my wondering about, is Borderlands 3 going to be anything like Borderlands 1, or is it going to move further and further? Over the course of relatively the same time, we've had the Assassin's Creed series drastically change.
Every bit of data in the Hyperion network ends up archived here. Mining information, security footage, it all flows to the stockade. Get inside.
So this is Firestone.
I stole the drop boards. Hyperion was no match for my secret. Punch you in the face until you die fighting style. When the time comes, we'll fight our way to the vault together.
So, Brick right now is stealing things for us and setting himself up to be helpful, like Roland did before he was killed, which they bring that up a lot. You know what, these skags look a lot like the monsters in yeah, Stranger Things, particularly season 2, which I was just watching earlier today. It's slightly different, but not by a lot. Well, I mean, how many different ways can you have faces open up in weird ways? I kind of wish the game would have had more humanoid characters, aliens. I think that's something that's gonna need to come about in Borderlands 3 is instead of just the aliens that we saw in Borderlands 1 that really don't seem to be around anymore. Like, I haven't fought any to my knowledge. There needs to be, you know, something like that. I get the idea that they probably want all the playable characters. See, this, I believe, is supposed to be an indication that of an area you could have reached perhaps earlier in the first game. It's like they've drastically changed how Firestone was, but they're still calling it Firestone. Interesting. Well, at least they redid most of the other levels. Well, that's gonna leave it at that, I suppose. I do have the suspicions that you can only get up your stats to plus 6%, or at least maybe through the first playthrough you can only get up to plus 6%. Maybe that's not really true. If that's the case, then of the remaining challenges, which there's still a lot that could be finished because of all the DLC, the DLC will certainly help in challenges where it's just kill bruisers or kill Varkids if the DLC has it. I also kind of wonder if maybe the DLC will introduce new enemy styles, and it would be nice if that was kind of backwards compatible in a new Game Plus. Maybe not in the first gameplay, but if I was fighting less Bullymong and less Psychos, that and just a wider variety, that would be cool. It also is kind of weird because you don't really fight enough Bullymong or Psychos in the game either. You have way too many Hyperion enemies that you fight. But I guess that's where we're going to leave this recording. Again, apologies for losing the footage. There's really nothing I could do. Nobody really wants to listen to 4 hours of videoless video where it's just audio. You would have no idea what I'm talking about or what I'm doing, and it's not, like I said, anything incredibly insightful for those 4 hours. If I had, I would have repeated it in this hour. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.